or a good, the law says you should charge VAT if it's not exempt. Now, talking about the tax authority having a human face, it's because we know that small businesses have a challenge. That's why the VAT threshold has not come down to even the small scale sellers. We're expecting them to grow capacity to keep records. But the law actually says everyone that sells should collect. The government does not insist on enforcing on everyone. For now, we're taking a stage. That's the human face. And we found out that truly, many businesses charge VAT. The remittance level is like 10%. So many businesses collect VAT, only 10% return it to government. Now, that is not good to hear. So the question is that what are we doing? That's why you see us enforcing. There are businesses who found that have hundreds of millions at the end of the year, unremitted. But you enforce. They go to the press and say, we close their business. That's the reality we face. If there are challenges in remittance, you see, the tax office is open. When a taxpayer has a challenge in remittance, you can come and let there be a discussion. But the rule is that when you have deducted from the customer, you take it from the customer, remit. Except you are exempt. If you want to be exempt, you need to push for your own industry to be free of it. But remember, it is not the company that's paying the VAT, it is the customer. Thank you.
Sorry, let me just shed more light on VAT as an entrepreneur in that industry. Your VAT is 5% of whatever you sell, your sales. For instance, I own a restaurant. I sell chicken at 1,000 naira. So my VAT is 5% of that 1,000, regardless of whatever my cost is. And why I'm so particular about keeping your cost as low as possible is because when your cost is lower, even if your selling price remains the same, your VAT remains constant. For instance, I still sell chicken in my restaurant for 1,000 naira. I was buying at a cost price of 700. I want to make more profit, but I don't want to make my customers have to pay more because I have competition. They will buy from.
Take out 200,000. 20% of 5 million is 1 million. So that you have a relief tax-free 1.2 billion. It's a balance of free date that is subjected to tax. For the business, the law allows you to claim expenses which are wholly, exclusively, necessarily, and reasonably incurred for the making of the profit. So the money you spend for diesel is huge. You should calculate it and charge against your profit. The money, the car you use, you calculate capital allowance and charges against your profit. The rent you pay for the property, chargeable. Salaries chargeable fully. As long as you can provide evidence that you've used it necessarily, exclusively, reasonably, for the making of that profit. That's why we advise business, get a tax advisor. I've been told that for 30,000, 20,000, you can get one. So they can help you organize your tax affairs. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. There's so much waivers and incentives in the tax law that you can get. There are incentives for businesses that are making less than 1 million. It's in the tax law. I rest my case. Over to you. Take advantage of the incentives. It's there in the law.
Thank you very much, sir. I promised to keep this as interactive as possible, and so we will make that happen. We'll be going back to the audience. But just before then, Tola has a clarification. So we had two more people who had questions. So number 3 and 4, can you please stand? Okay, and then we'll give some other people numbers after that. But Tola has something to say. Briefly, please. We want the audience to speak.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to add one thing about pioneer status that I thought was going to flag. That as of August 2017, it's expanded. E-commerce is on that list. Music is actually on that list. Movie making is on that list. So there are a number of things on the pioneer status 2017 list that is actually expanded, that actually cover quite a number of things. Even business process outsourcing is on that list. That's one. Two is, it was a concern, and it's a more systemic concern about VAT. So I know that in Nigeria, for instance, the cost for transactional cost for bank services is very high. And one of the incurred costs is the VAT cost, right? So my thoughts more on the issue. Is there a way we can start to have conversations around waiving VAT for some specific sectors that have lower systemic effects? Already my transactional cost or my rates for interest because of MPR is going to be like 26%. Can I then not have a VAT on top of that? Or say, for instance, in land, right, which is another major one, where the question is, charge VAT for land now. So the question is there any value added when I sell the land to another person? It's just thoughts into my head because they have longer, bigger systemic effects. Just thoughts in my head.
I think a round of applause for Tola, because they're saying what we want. We want to hear about exemptions. How do you waive certain things? People, especially the bulk of the people in this room, are entrepreneurs or people who own and run their own businesses or who want to do that. So the best way to support their businesses, and this is the tax office, choose rightly when you offer waivers.
So, I think one of the most easiest way to comply with tax payment remittances is the VAT option. If we can strike a balance, around our GDP using the VAT idea, I'll take, for instance, the UAE. Dubai is reputed for charging taxes, but I know quite well, anytime I need to check into an hotel in Dubai, they gave me the room rate, and then they had, the tourist tax, which is what is usually rated. But the campaign to the entire world is that Dubai tax-free. Now, I'm looking at the possibility because I've mostly seen when revenues shot up as high as 200 million, and then in this case, the tax is maybe the VAT is 4 million, or much less than that. It becomes quite affordable to pay, just like she explained, it's just about 5% of your, of your revenue. Now, I'm looking at it from the angle of this. Is it possible that the market Nigeria has in terms of GDP? From the little research I did, we're about 27th in the world in terms of GDP of 48 billion. In the 54 countries of Africa, we're bigger than the entire 54 countries in Africa. In the entire Oceania continent, Nigeria is bigger than that. Of the 48 countries in the whole of Asia, Nigeria is bigger than 39. If you go to the entire Europe, where we have about 50 countries, we're bigger than 41. Now, if you look at this statistic, even in the North America, where you have the big American companies, where America stands as the giant of the world, we're bigger than the countries that is bigger than about 3. In South America, only Brazil and Argentina is bigger than Nigeria in terms of GDP. Is it possible we remodel this idea of focusing on GDP where tax payment and remittances is transferred to the purchaser in a way, even if, as we speak, we have $400 billion as Nigeria's GDP. If we target, which is the exchange of transactions within the country, if we target a percentage of that using the VAT option, I'm quite sure 5% of that will fund Buhari government. If you look at it from the angle of 5% of 400 billion, that gives you, some region of about $20 billion. If you're looking at it from that angle, $20 billion, if you multiply it by 360, it still boils down to about 8 trillion naira, which can conveniently fund this government, and achieve its aim. So we might have to strike a balance where there's not too much burden on income tax, education tax, and a couple of other taxes. Because the real issue is after you've generated this revenue, which you have spent in actual sense, it now becomes difficult for you to bring out of the remaining balance. Because in most cases, the time you're supposed to remit the VAT is when you have either paid salaries or paid some vendors or paid some certain bills, and then the VAT guy shows up. So another idea which we can employ is the solution brought by Interchange, whereby from the moment you make any ATM withdrawals, percentages go to all the parties. Interchange has his, and every other person has their share from that arrangement. Can we develop a solution where I don't necessarily have to pay you at the end of the month? Can we involve some technology, in a way and manner that as I'm being paid, right from some designated POS in my facility, your percentage goes straight to you there.
Thank you very much. So, is there a microphone, audience? Okay. So, the questions, please stand up. We'll take your questions. So, we'll just focus more questions within the audience to the panel, to the panelists. So, that's your question.
Thank you very much. I was working for about 12 years, and I was paying my tax regularly simply because I was paid a salary. Now that I'm into business as a mother of 2 girls, I'm the ambulance, I'm the free education, quote unquote. I am every service that needs to be paid. Sir, this is for you, the tax. You come and your job is to make sure I pay my tax. The government's job is to make sure they provide these services for me. If you are making sure that I pay my tax, who makes sure, without my PC, who makes sure that they do their job? Because I'm not really big on listen to news and the rest of them because it's kind of depressing. But when I do listen to news and I hear things that happen in the US, the UK, and South Africa, it is the people who get up to vote to make sure that the government is doing something. I think it was recent years where the Chinese made sure that corrupt officials were taken care of without the people standing up to vote them out. So if the government is make sure that I pay my tax from your end or on your end, who is making sure that the government does what they need to do before 4 years are over?
Thank you. The next person, please. For the next set of questions, for this set of questions, the next man is not going to answer the questions. The panelists speak to the questions in a solution-oriented manner. We have a session just with the tax man. You can ask him your questions. I know most of your questions are for him, but we have full, rich panel here, and it will be good to hear how they could help with their solution. Arase is very vast on how to save and make money, and so I'm sure she will have insight. Debola is going to answer that question, but that's the next question, number 4.
Okay, thank you very much.
Briefly.
My name is Doreen Ayodele. I'm a tax consultant. I founded Finance Clinic. But the major change, I help small businesses file their taxes and keep their records. But the major challenge we face is with the tax officials. We go to the tax office and they cannot answer our questions. Case in point, in January, they created FCT IRS, and then most of my clients are scared because they had tax payee audits and they don't know what to. So last week I went to the FCT IRS office and asked, are you going to transfer files from FRS to FCT IRS, or are we starting afresh? And they could not answer my question. And then to the taxman, he said that there is an e-filing portal. It does not work. When you go to the FRS office, they will tell you it did not work. When you go there, they will tell you to bring your teller. So what's the point of, we have it on paper. We have so many, we have ITAS, they say it's ITAS, that's the name. We have ITAS on paper, but it doesn't work. So I think the tax authority should do something. Most important, should employ capable hands. They end up employing consultants that cannot do the work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that's a great recommendation for the tax office to deal with. Let's take a few more questions. So can I see your hand? We'll choose randomly. Let's go behind the lady at the end to my left. Yes, you standing, you'll be number 1. You with the hat in front, white kaftan, you'll be number 2. And this is hard though. The person on that row, number 3. So please, can you stand up? Let's take your questions. Debola would answer the first question. The person behind you, sir, in the jacket. Thank you. So let's take questions. Please be straight to the point, and it would be great if you can or speak to the panelists because they have the real-life experiences to share how they've been able to deal with their situations.
All right, my name is Jamal Ngulu, and I run a business that deals with entertainment as well as health. Now, it's not necessarily a question, but it's something I would like to be put under consideration. It's obvious that people fear what they can't understand. That's actually a big challenge. And so I think apart from the solution that was recommended, hiring capable hands, because I've also encountered problems like that, where they've moved me from place to place. And my industry too is built up from scratch. Dance studio or dance industry is still growing. You know, another problem we have is if there are different kinds of information that deal with different sectors, then information should be provided according to sectors. I think trainings like this can also be done in sectors. So they can be an entertainment or a banking and finance segment, you know, where they show them the things that they need to do. Because you see, everybody is talking of frustration right now, and people are trying to prove a point, but they still don't have the vital information of what to do next. So, for instance, people were categorized according to sectors, and they were shown, okay, this is what you do for a sector, this is where you can evade, this is what you can pay. They will know what to do and do it. That's my recommendation.
Thank you. More recommendations, please. Let's take the gentleman in front here before we come over. I can see our taxman taking notes. Hopefully we'll get results from today's edition and it wouldn't just be talk up.
Thank you. My name is Akintayo Akintol, legal practitioner with Aniwa Ajayi. Just very briefly, I would like to ask some of the panelists, and it's an open question. How many of them actually, especially those running, for those in entrepreneurial, running own businesses, how many of them actually seek advice before, well, tax advice before incorporate their businesses? Or how many of them actually get sound